head, neck and shoulder lump. And let's just get started, shall we? So we're going to start with some head turns. So just come to a comfortable standing position. And I want you to just gently turn your head as far as it will go to one side, coming back through centre and turn to the other side. So just gently from side to side, and all the time you're checking in and noticing how it feels, whether it feels easier on one side than the other, whether it's a little bit creaky or it's making noises. Just notice. Notice if your range is restricted on one side more than the other. And we're just going to do a couple more to each side. And then as you come back in through centre this time, hold it there. We're going to do some little head circles. But what I want you to be really careful is that as you start to take your eyes up towards the ceiling, that you're leading with your chin. So I just don't want you to drop your head right back and compress the back of your neck. Okay, so we're going to take our eyes up to the ceiling and then start to take your chin up to the ceiling. Think about stretching your chin to the ceiling without compressing and shortening the back of your neck too much. And then we're going to take our head over to one side, keep leading with your chin, bringing your chin down towards your shoulder, bringing your chin across the front of your chest towards the upper shoulder, and then leading with the chin again, giving a lovely stretch through the front of the neck as you reach towards the ceiling and circle again round, nice and slow, just go in your own time, leading with your chin. Make sure you want to gurn a little bit, get that real big stretch through the front of your neck. Let's do that the other way. So go towards shoulder, chin to ceiling and all the way around. Now you can make this movement as slow as you like. You can make the circle as big or as small as you like, but it's controlled the whole time. Like I say, we never just want to drop our head back. Alright, and as you come back through centre this time, just hold it there. Let's go for a shoulder roll now. So roll in your shoulders. So what I want you to notice as your shoulder rolling is, are your elbows coming up? Are you leading with your elbows? Can you keep your arms super floppy and just move the shoulders? And get as much movement as you can. So really coming up high and back and down and forwards. And then let's reverse that and go the other way. Much movement as you can, make sure that you're not leading with those elbows. We tend to compensate for tight shoulders with other body parts, so watch for your elbows wanting to do that. Okay, and then hold there. So now bring your attention to your shoulder blades on your back. Can you lift just one shoulder blade up and then pull it down? Do the other side. Can you lift your shoulder blade up and then pull it down? Keep switching sides. Think about not just the shoulder coming up, but that shoulder blade in your back as you go from side to side. Really trying to increase your body awareness so that you can feel which bits of your body are moving. And we don't have very good kind of proprioception of our back body because you can't see it. And then how about can you do one up and one down and then switch? So thinking about those shoulder blades, one up and one down, switch. Can you do like circles? So let me think about that. So it kind of makes me want to almost like I'm doing a back crawl, but I want to try, there we go, I want to try and circle them in opposite directions, and it's kind of a bit of a brain challenge as well as a body challenge. I'm going to try and go the other way, and some days when I do this I can get the rhythm and then other days it just doesn't work. So just kind of have a play around yourself and just figure out, it's just playing with your body, playing with the movement and trying to increase your awareness. So it doesn't matter if you mess it up, it doesn't matter, just move, enjoy that freedom of movement through your shoulders and then just give everything a little bit of a shake out. We're going to take our arms out to the side now. I want you to press your palms away from you. And let's keep a little soft bend in the elbow. So we don't want to lock the arm out. We're going to keep that little soft bend and your elbow pit is pointing up towards the ceiling. Let's do that on both sides. We're going to push the palm of the hand away and spread your fingers really wide. Can you pull your fingers back towards you as you push your palm away? And this is like a little nerve stretch, so it might feel a little bit tingly. Drop your shoulders down away from your ears and notice if those shoulders are trying to sneak up. And then let that go. Again, just give everything a little shake out. So we're going to do some arm and shoulder movements now, and I really like to multitask, so I like to do more than one thing at a time. I'm going to add a squat here, so it's up to you whether you want to do this in a squat or if you want to just stand still, okay? If you're going to squat with me, we're going to take our legs wide and we're going to turn the feet out a little bit, and we're going to find a squat position that we can hold. So don't come down really low because you're going to be there for a while. So just find a comfortable squat position, and then we're going to take our hands out to the side again into that stop, soft bend of the elbows, and we're going to bring the hands together in front and then take them out to the side. Together in front and out to the side. Take the arms as far back as you can, but don't let your ribs lift. Good. And then we're going to take the hands down a little bit lower, still in that stop position, still in your squat position. Now, if at any time your hands and your wrists get really unhappy, let's go low. You can turn your hands over and just have palms up, and that's fine too. You're opening out as wide as you can. And if you need to come out of your squat, let's go up a little bit higher. If you need to come out of your squat, you can kind of come out and then come back into it. If you want to, you could do squats rather than holding. I quite like to do this holding, but you could kind of do a squat with your arm movement. It's just playing. I like to play. I'm going to hold it again, go a little bit higher. How far back can you go? And then we're going to do up and down arms now. So bring one arm down, the other arm's up, and then we're going to switch and switch. So with me, I've just noticed one hand is still spread and one hand is squeezing together. And I'll try and spread my fingers again. Check yours. 3 more here. 2. Last one, and come up and out of that. Give your hands a little shake. Give your shoulders a little circle. Okay, I'm keeping my legs like this for a reason. So if you aren't here, bring your legs here. So legs quite wide, turning the feet out. So we'll do the arm movement first, and then we're going to add a squat. So interlace your fingers, and as you inhale, you're going to bring your hands up towards your chin. As you exhale, turn the hands over and press the palms down towards the floor. Inhaling again, arms are going to sweep forwards and up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, release the hands and come back to your start position. We'll do one more with the arms. Inhale to lift, exhale to press, inhale, sweep up, and exhale, release. Okay, we're going to add a little squat this time. So inhale, arms come up towards your chin. Exhale, turn the hands, press and squat. Stay in the squat. As you inhale, arms come up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, release the hands, release the squat to come back to your start position. Let's go again. Inhale, lift the hands. Exhale, squat and press. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and exhale, release and come back to your start position. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, sweep it up, and exhale, release. We're going to do one more time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and release, and come all the way down. Bringing your feet a little bit closer now, let's go to just about hip width apart. And we're going to tuck our elbows in by our sides and palms are facing up. And I want you to keep your elbows tucked in, but open your arms out to the sides. Now everybody's range of movement will be completely different here, and I don't have a very big range of movement here, but you might have much better than me. So in an ideal world, you would be able to get your arm out to sort of 90 degrees. So have a look and just see where you are, and no judgment, it's just that this is where your body is. Okay, and then can you notice your shoulder blades moving? So just put your awareness to those shoulder blades, and can you figure out how they're moving as you open and close your arms? So as your arms come together, your shoulder blades are going to go wide on your back, and as you open your arms out, the shoulder blades are going to come in towards your spine. So just have a play with feeling that movement. Again, just increasing your awareness. And if you've not got it, don't worry. The more you do this, and the more movements you do with your shoulders, the more you're going to get it. Okay, and now I want you to find that point at which your shoulder blades are wide. So as your hands come together, your shoulder blades have gone wide on your back. Now, can you keep the shoulder blades wide and still as you open your arms out? So you might not go as far, and that's okay. I'm more interested in you keeping your shoulder blades still right now. And you can do one side to feel, is that one staying still? And try the other side. And both together. So once you've got your shoulder blades still, and you've kind of found the edge of as far as you can go without them coming in together, we're going to find that and hold it. So shoulder blades are wide, arms have opened out to where you can maintain that stable shoulder blade. And then can you think about externally rotating your hands and your arms? So like when we hold a cup of water and we tip it out, can you find that? Holding there. And then can you start to allow your elbows to leave the sides of your body, and they're going to come kind of forwards and out at a diagonal to try and keep those shoulder blades wide. Now don't worry if your shoulders have had to come forwards a little bit to keep that wide shoulder blade, and if you're really not sure, you might have to bring them forwards a little. Hold here and then release. Give your shoulders a little circle, turn your head side to side and just let go of any tension. We're going to come down onto our hands and knees next. Okay, so we're going to come down onto hands and knees and we're going to do our rhomboid push-up. So again, your focus is on your shoulder blades moving together and spreading apart. So fingers nice and wide, thumbs pointing towards each other as much as you can, and then elbow pits are forwards. From here, you're going to let your shoulder blades come together in your back and then spread wide. Come together and spread wide. Just keep going with that movement. Trying to get as much movement there as you can. So really squeeze the shoulder blades together and then push as wide as you can. Now notice if your rib cage is wanting to do a lot of this movement. Try and just keep your ribs really quiet and feel that movement of your shoulder blades. And then every so often check in and notice whether keep going, but notice whether your fingers have started to close up, whether your thumbs started to point the same way as your fingers, and where that elbow pit is, because often they will turn inwards to look at each other because that's our default shoulder position because we do so much with our hands in front. So a few more of those rhomboid push-ups here. And then we're just going to change it a little bit. And we're going to come down onto our elbows. So elbows come down, and I'm just going to make two little fists here. So you want the same distance between your hands as you have your elbows. And we're going to do the same movement, shoulder blades together, shoulder blades wide. So you're trying to have your elbow directly under your shoulder, and then we're using much more the serratus muscle, which is kind of under your arm here, as you bring shoulder blades together and apart. And again, if you've not quite got this movement, don't worry about it. It is something that kind of takes a little bit of practice, and again, getting your brain and body communicating with each other, which can take a little bit of time. Okay. And then from here, you're just going to sit your bottom back towards your heels and reach your arms forwards into that child's pose, just to give your back a little stretch and give your shoulders a rest. I want you to walk your hands as far forwards as you can to really get a big stretch through your shoulders and upper back, and just take a couple of breaths here. Okay, so we're going to come back up onto excuse me. We're going to come back up onto all fours again, and we're going to do our forearm push-up this time. So same thing, we want our fingers spread wide, thumbs pointing towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Now for your forearm push-up, you're going to bend your elbow and your elbow is going to point towards your knee as you lower your upper body down towards the mat, and then you're going to push to straighten that arm again. So let's do a few of those, and you can kind of refine this as you go along. The first thing is to make sure that your elbows aren't going out to the side. The elbows are going to point back towards your knees. Then notice as you bend your elbow and you lower your upper body, is your bottom going back as well, okay? Because that's a little bit of a cheat. So try and keep your bottom still and you're just lowering your upper body. And you don't have to go far. You can just lower an inch if you like. It's about keeping that work in your shoulders, your arms, your upper body, and not using your ribs or using your whole body to take you back. And this is a brilliant way to build strength and stamina in your upper body. And if you want to be able to do full push-ups, this is a great way to build strength towards that. Now just come on off your hands. Let's do reverse prayer hands. So bringing the backs of the hands together and then pull your thumbs away from the fingers and try and lower your hands down. Trying to get your forearms kind of parallel with the floor, but without losing contact with the other hand. Just take a few breaths here. Now if you do want to work on your upper body strength and stamina, you can do those little forearm push-ups against the wall. You can do full push-ups against the wall. It's a little bit less load and it's easier to just kind of slot those movements into your day. Take your hands side to side. So as you're passing a wall, if you've got a minute, you could just do a couple of little push-up practices rather than having to get down on the floor every time. We're going to go back onto all fours now. Give your fingers a wriggle. We're going to go back to our rhomboid push-up, but we're going to change the position of the hands because we don't want to always work with our hands in the same position. So start with your fingers pointing straight ahead and then turn your hands out a little bit. So I've kind of gone to like maybe 45 degrees, something like that. And then same thing, elbow pits are forwards. And can you notice whether your shoulders are up around your ears? Can you pull your shoulders away from your ears so that you've got a neck? And let's just do some little rhomboid push-ups here. Squeezing the shoulder blades together and then pressing them wide. Two more. And then we're going to go straight into hands at 90 degrees. Still fingers spread wide, thumbs are going to point directly to the top of the mat and get those elbow pits again turning forwards, and let's squeeze and press those shoulder blades. Now you might be starting to find you don't have as much movement, that's okay. Alright, we're going to turn the hands again, 45 degrees, turning them down. You're just going to go to where you can. Let's do those rhomboid push-ups. So if you find a point that's really nippy or pinchy or is just not available to you, don't worry about it. Just go to where you can. You can make the movements smaller. Okay, last one here, and then I've got one more hand turn. Can you turn your hands so that your fingers are pointing towards your knees? And again, can you do your little rhomboid push-ups here? Notice. Have you got the same movement? Now I'm struggling here and my rib cage wants to do the movement. All right, and then come on off your hands again. Ooh, give your hands a little shake out. Bring your elbow in by your side and turn your palm up and use your other hand to pull the fingers back. And then just give each finger in turn a little stretch. Get your thumb. Give it a wriggle, give it a shake. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So pull your elbow in. Use your other hand to pull the fingers back. And then again, just pull in each finger in turn back. And get your thumb. Give it a little wriggle. And a shake. Okay. We're going to come down onto our elbows again now. So coming down onto your elbows, palms face down to begin with, and again we want the same distance between your hands as you have your elbows. And then I want you to back your lower body up, so walk your knees back a little bit, so you're already kind of reaching forwards with your arms, and then you're going to take your bottom, pull it back towards your heels, so you're not going into child's pose, you're kind of pulling the bottom away from the hands. Allow your head to drop down, and if it will reach the mat, you can rest it down. You can have it hovering if you prefer. And let your chest drop down towards the mat, but don't rib thrust. Okay, so you're just letting the chest relax down as you're reaching your arms forwards and pulling your bottom back in the opposite direction. So you're creating a bit of a traction stretch through your shoulders and upper back. And just hold for a few breaths. And then we're going to just come forwards a little bit. We're going to turn the hands over and try and get each of your fingernails and your thumbnail down into the mat. Now, a lot of tension in the hands will make your hand want to lift and roll in towards the centre. So just try and see first if you can get all of your fingernails down on one hand. Maybe use your other hand to press down to give it a little bit of help. So a little bit of gravity, a little bit of pressure to try and release tension through the hand. And then let's do the same on the other side. So turn your hand over. Can you get all of your fingernails and your thumb down? How about again, can you apply a little bit more pressure? Let's see if you can release it down. Okay, so we're going to have both hands down now. Again, fingernails down, try and get your thumbnail down. We're going to walk our knees back again a little bit. Trying to keep those thumbs down. Can you again let your head and your chest drop down through your arms? You can let your head relax down. And notice, have your thumbs lifted away from the floor? Can you keep trying to open out your hands to try and get your thumbs down? And it will vary from day to day, but you can feel that's a really big stretch through your hands, your forearms, your shoulders, your upper back. And then when you're ready, come on up and just come on out of that. And again, just give your hands a little shake, circle your shoulders around, and maybe just turn your head gently from side to side. We're going to do our thread the needle now, because that's a really nice stretch for the shoulders with a little bit of rotation. If you struggle to get your head down, then feel free to grab a cushion or something, because I want you to be relaxed in this rather than having to hold yourself tense. So let's come back down onto elbows again, and then take one arm out just a couple of inches just to give yourself some more space. Your other hand is going to come across and thread behind your elbow, and you're going to rotate around. Try and bring your shoulder and your ear down towards the mat. So this is where if you need a cushion, you can pop one under your head. We're going to reach that arm through and allow your upper body to twist. So you're trying to look that way, but still keeping your hip bones pointing down towards the mat. So a really nice big stretch through your shoulders and your upper back, and just hold here and take some deep breaths. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, come on up. Again, take that arm out a couple of inches to give yourself more space, and thread. Reach the arm through, rotate your upper body, let your ear and your shoulder come down to the mat if they will reach. And again, just reach that arm through, get a big twist through your shoulders, your upper back, and take some deep breaths. And then bring that arm through, and we're going to take our bottom back towards our heels. Reach your arms forwards into your child's pose, into that rest position, and again really walk your hands as far forwards as you can, and take some breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly come back up to seated. Okay, so we're going to go back onto all fours again. And we're going to play with that rotation a little bit now. So whenever we're on all fours, we want to keep that really good alignment. So always fingers spread wide, always thumbs pointing in towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Okay, so we're going to do single arm. So we're going to keep one hand planted and your other hand is going to come around to grab your rib cage. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to allow your rib cage to twist. So you're going to twist towards that straight arm. So we're rotating the rib cage around and then we're going to go the other way. We're going to twist the rib cage away from the arm. Twist the rib cage towards your arm and twist away from your arm. Now, you don't have to make this movement big. You can make this movement as small as you like. But we're anchored that arm, anchored that shoulder, and we're twisting the body away. So normally we anchor the rib cage and twist the arm away. We're just challenging our shoulder strength. All right, last one. And then we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So take a moment to get fingers spread wide, thumb pointing towards the other hand, elbow pit forwards. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to twist towards that arm and then twist away. So notice if it feels different on this side, and it doesn't have to be a big movement. Let's do two more. Last one. And then come back off your hands and give your hands just a little shake out. Shake, shake, shake. Shoulder circle. And the other way. Maybe just gently turning your head side to side, just letting go of any tension that you might have built up there. We're going to add some lower body work as well now. So again, multitasking. We're going to go into a lunge and we're going to add some arm work there. So we're going to go into a lunge movement next. Now, when we come forwards and we start to add some arm movement, if you struggle to get your hand down all the way to the mat, then feel free to use some blocks, some cushions, anything just to give you a little bit more height. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to use a block and a half down, but you can use whatever you've got. So I'm going to make sure that it's nice and stable so that I'm not going to fall. I'm going to take myself into the lunge position, and you'll see as we get into it where we're going to go with this. But when we come into a deep lunge, we're going to keep one hand down on the floor, and we're going to then sweep the other arm around. So if you struggle to get your hand all the way down to the floor when you're in that lunge position, don't be afraid to lift it up a little bit. It just makes it a little bit easier for you. So come on up to kneeling, and step one leg forwards. You want to make sure that that shin is as vertical as possible. You don't want to have your foot too close to you, and you can see how my shin is like less than 90 degrees. It wants to be 90 degrees or even a little bit more if you prefer. Take a moment to make sure that your hip bones are level. And let's get that slight tuck of the tailbone here. So we're just going to hold here for a few breaths, just allowing the front of that hip to open, ribs stay down. Let's just shift the hips slightly forwards and backwards a couple of times, just allowing this area to release. And then we're going to take it into a really big lunge, okay? So this time do come all the way forwards. Let your hands come down onto the mat and just hold here. You can kind of come in and out of that a little bit, because sometimes just rocking gently just makes you feel a little bit more, it stops you gripping and holding on to tension quite so much if you just move in and out of it a little bit. And then hold it there. Feel that big stretch through that back hip. Okay. And then we're going to keep one hand down. So whichever leg is forwards, the opposite hand is going to stay down. We're going to stay in this deep lunge position. And then your free arm is going to reach forwards, as far forwards as you can go. That arm is going to go up towards the ceiling. Allow your head and your eyes and your upper body to twist and to follow that arm. Can you take that arm back behind you? And then it's going to come down past your foot and reach forwards. And we're going to do big circles. So you can allow your upper body to go with it, or you can keep your upper body still and just do the arm. So whichever feels good to you. reverse that. So can you go the other way? You can make the movement as big or as small as you like. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to allow my hand to come back down onto the mat. And then I'm going to back my hips up. I'm going to bring this leg back in and sit my bottom back towards my heels, back into that child's pose, just to give a little moment there. Couple of breaths. Allowing your body to reset. And then just bring your head up, look at your hands, make sure your hands are shoulder width apart, maybe even a little bit wider. And we're going to come forwards into like a little cobra position. So keeping your hands planted, start to come up through all fours, and then let your hips come down towards the mat, and you can let your chest lift a little bit here, opening out through your hips, nice and strong through your shoulders, so don't let your shoulder blades collapse. Shoulder blades stay nice and wide, elbow pits forwards. Take your bottom back towards your heels again, back into your child's pose. As you inhale this time, we're going to come again forwards into that little cobra pose. Inhale here. And exhale, take your bottom back towards your hips. We're going to do a few of these. Inhale to come forward, shoulders nice and stable. Exhale to go back. We're going to do two more when you're ready. Inhale to come forwards and exhale to go back. We're going to do our lunge series on the other side now. So come on up to seated, come into your high kneeling position and step your other leg forwards this time. Again, take a moment to make sure that you're 90 degrees or more. Hip bands level, tailbone slightly tucked. Let's just give a little stretch through the front of the hip. Already had a little stretch, but give it a little bit more. And again, just shift gently your whole pelvis forwards and back just a couple of times. Again, just nursing it into that movement. And then we're going to go all the way forwards into a deep lunge. Allow your hands to come down. Again, you can kind of come in and out of that a little bit, just back in and out of it if you need to, or you can just hold it. I like the top of my foot flat on the mat. Some people prefer to be tucked. It will just depend how it feels for your knee. So don't be afraid to kind of play around with your leg position a little bit. Okay, so whichever leg is forwards, the opposite hand is going to anchor down onto the mat. And then you're going to reach this arm forwards. You're going to reach it up towards the ceiling. You're going to reach that arm back behind you, sweep it down towards the mat, and let's circle again. Remember, you can take your upper body with it, or you can keep your upper body still and just circle your arm. And then let's reverse. Big reach, keep reaching all the time. Alright, and then allow your hand to come down. Take your bottom back, release that leg, come back into your child's pose. Again, reach both arms forwards and just take a few breaths there. We're going to do our little cobra thing again, so have a look at your hands, make sure you've got enough space between your hands. We're going to come up, allow your hips to come through as you lift your chest. Shoulder blades nice and wide, remember we're not collapsing. And take your bottom back towards your heels. Let's use the breath. So we inhale to come forward, and we exhale to go back. Again, inhaling forwards, and exhaling back. Let's do two more. Last one. And as you go back this time, stay down. A few breaths. We're going to walk our hands to one side. So I'm walking my hands to the right, giving me a big stretch down the left side of my body. And if you want to, you can slide your hips into the stretch. So slightly sliding your hips to the left, leaning into the stretch to give you just a little bit more. And take some deep breaths here. We'll walk our hands back in through centre. Walk them over to the other side, so I've gone to the left this time. Sliding my hips slightly to the right, leaning into the stretch again, just to get as much movement out of it as I can. And take some deep breaths. When you're ready, walk your hands back in through centre and slowly come on up to seat. Okay, so from here we're going to roll over onto our back now. So coming down onto your back. And just take a moment for your spine to settle into the floor. So just take a few breaths. Enjoy that feeling of your rib cage sinking down, connecting into the mat. Your pelvis anchoring down. And stretch. Bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. Let's just release any tension through your lower back. And then we're going to lower the feet down. And I want you to lift your bottom up and slide it to the left, just a couple of inches. So a couple of inches to the left. We're going to straighten out the right leg and bring that left leg into tabletop. We're going to roll onto our right side. So come all the way over onto your right side and let that knee come all the way down to the floor. Now your bottom arm, I'm going to curl it around so that I can rest my head in my hand, but you can grab a cushion if you want to. Just find a position that feels comfortable for you. So your pelvis should be stacked, one hip bone on top of the other, and that knee is going to stay down on the floor. And we're going to reach this free arm up towards the ceiling, really stretch that arm, and then take that arm back behind you, keeping your knee down on the floor. You can allow your rib cage to roll, but keep your knee down on the floor. And then we're going to play around with this hand behind here. So this hand is then going to reach up towards your head, and then back out to the side. Keeping your palm reaching up towards the ceiling so that you're in that external rotation, and it will feel like a really nice stretch through your shoulder, through your chest. Well, I say a really nice stretch. It might be quite an intense stretch, but sometimes that's good. And just play around with that movement, maybe bringing it all the way down towards your hip, taking it all the way up towards your head. Alright, and then we're going to bring that arm all the way back up towards the ceiling and just gently lower that hand down. We're going to do the same on the other side, so you can use your hand to help push it back in through centre. Maybe just bring your knees to your chest and rock gently side to side, just to release any tension that you might be building on your lower back. Okay, so I am going to roll away from the camera just so that you can kind of see. So you're going to lift your hips up and slide your hips to the right a couple of inches this time. You're going to straighten out your left leg and bring your right leg into tabletop. I'm going to roll onto your left side this time. So roll all the way over, bringing your knee down towards the floor. And again, that bottom arm can come around to cradle your head. Take a moment to make sure that you're comfortable and your knee is down. And then reach your arm up towards the ceiling. Take a moment to stretch. And then again, you're going to take your arm back behind you. You can allow your ribcage to twist a little bit as you take that arm back behind you. Just find a comfortable position for your head, so kind of let it be where it wants to be. And then again, we're reaching that arm out and we're taking it up towards our head. And then back out to the side. Noticing if it's different on this side to the other side. Noticing where your hand wants to go. You know, noticing if it's wanting to twist and face in different directions. And don't fight it, just kind of explore the movement and see where it needs to be. Maybe take it all the way down towards your hip and then all the way up towards your head. Right. And then bringing your arm up towards the ceiling. Allow that hand to come down, and again just roll yourself onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. We're going to lengthen our legs out long. Take your arms overhead, make yourself as long and as tall as you can as you stretch from fingertips to toes. And we're going to go into our crescent stretch from here. So walk your legs to the right and then walk your arms and upper body also to the right. So you're in that banana shape. Now you can stay here if you wish. Notice that you've got to stretch all down your left side. If you want to increase it, you can cross your left ankle over your right, and then with your right hand you can grab that left wrist and just give it a little pull. Making sure that you haven't rolled onto your side here, so you still want to have both shoulder blades anchored into the mat and both butt cheeks on the mat, so you're not rolled onto your side. And take some deep breaths here. Really feel that expansion of the left side of your rib cage. You can do this with a cushion or something under your head if you notice that your ribs are popping up. And try and keep those ribs down so that you're getting a real big stretch through your waist. A couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, release your arms first, just taking the pressure off. Uncross your legs and walk your legs back in through centre. We're going to do the same on the other side. So walk your legs to the left this time. Arms up and overhead, and again arms and upper body also to the left. You can stay here, or you can cross your right ankle over your left, and then with your left hand you can grab that right wrist, just give it a little pull. Again, just increasing that stretch. If it's too much, back off from it a little bit, make the movement smaller. Or just do the upper body if you prefer, or if your upper body's had enough, just do the lower body. Again, both shoulder blades are anchored on the mat, and keeping both cheeks down on the mat so we've not rolled onto our side. Check with the ribs. And let's have a few breaths here. When you're ready, release your arms first. Walk your legs back in through centre, moving slowly, bending your knees one at a time. And then again, pull them into your chest. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently, side to side. We're going to come back up to standing now. Move slowly, take your time, come up to seated first. Just give yourself a moment and then come up to standing when you're ready. Okay, so we're back in standing position now. We're going to give ourselves a hug. I think we deserve it. One hand on top of the other. Take your hands around your back and see if you can find that inside edge of your shoulder blade here. And just hold. So this is a really nice stretch for your shoulders and upper back. Notice if your shoulders are up around your ears. Can you pull your shoulders down? And then maybe just gently rocking side to side. Feeling that really nice stretch through your shoulders, through your upper back. Noticing which arm is on top because we need to do the other side shortly. And then we're going to start to release the hands, but try and get your elbows stacked one on top of the other. And we're going to bring the hands up and we're going to try and bring the backs of the hands as close to each other as you can. And just hold here. So now you can feel your shoulder blades have gone really wide in your upper back. Notice if your hands are touching your face. Can you move your hands away a little bit while still keeping your shoulders down? Big stretch for your shoulders. And if you want to, you can add like a little windscreen wiper movement here. Now that might be too much for you. You might be just happy to keep your hands here as best you can. Okay, now we're going to release the hands and just let them swing. So when you're ready, release the hands and just let them swing. Remembering which hand was on top, we're going to give ourselves a hug the other way this time. Again, wrap your hands around. Can you find that inside edge of your shoulder blade and shoulders down away from your ears? Maybe just a little gentle rock side to side. Okay, and then again, we're going to start to release the hands. Try and keep your elbows stacked one on top of the other. And try and bring the backs of the hands together. Bring the hands away from your face and either hold or do your little windscreen wipers here, and it might be different one side to the other. So this is just a nice way of trying to get as much movement in through your shoulders, your arms, your hands as possible. You probably recognise it from some yoga poses where they do an eagle pose, but that's more having the palms of the hands together. But because we're trying to work on mobility of the shoulders and keeping the shoulders rolled out, I prefer this. It's much harder. Alright, when you're ready, let it go. Swing your arms. Just take your arms out and in. Swinging your arms around, just freely, just get as much movement as you can. Stretch one arm to the ceiling and then the other. Stretch both arms. Just take a moment. Do what feels good. We never just give ourselves a real good stretch. So catch yourself as many times as you can today in that rounded forwards position and just take a moment to stretch. Yeah? Okay, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that and I'll see you soon.